So what happened to me was I got blown up 10 years ago. My mom was really big in my recovery and like the rock. And when I read about you, I read about, you know, how you feel about your dad.
My dad's amazing. He worked really hard my whole life. He was a Vietnam veteran and he worked as maintenance in a VA hospital my entire life. And he gave me his dog tag that he wore in Vietnam before I deployed to Iraq, and I carried it with me through Iraq. And it's nice because my father's my biggest inspiration.
I see a brace, and I'm curious about it. How does it work?
So this is an IDEO. I have drop foot and a non-sensation limb. So through my surgeries, there were some complications, and then when I came off life support, it exacerbated the complications. So the IDEO is pretty awesome. It's the last step in limb salvage, so it affords me the ability to be able to walk, and because I don't have lateral movement, it'll knock it back and forth so I don't fall over. It's a pretty impressive little piece of equipment.
So how long did you go through rehab?
I was injured in 2010, and I went through rehab at Brooke Army Medical Center for 18 months. And then I was finally found fit for duty and accepted into the World Class Athlete Program on the same day, July 3rd of 2012.
How does that happen? Like, how do you go from like just trying to make it fit for duty and getting, like, how does that happen?
I think it was, I mean, my whole life has kind of just been one happy accident. When I was going through rehab, when I got injured, I had a nurse case manager who said, you know, if you can't do cardio, maybe you just go to the pool. So I went to the pool, and there was a woman who just happened to be there, and she's like, do you want to learn how to do that the right way? Within 6 months of learning how to swim, I became a professional swimmer for the Army. I felt very guilty at first for being a swimmer. I felt like now I was doing so much for myself until I started receiving mail from people saying, I saw you do this, and I got up, and it changed my life. And so to receive the Pat Tillman Award and to hear that the Pat Tillman Foundation had chosen me as the recipient was an absolute honor. I get to help people. As a medic, that's what I loved about my job, is I got to help people. I got to be there for them. I got to nurture people that I truly care about. And now as an injured soldier and as someone who went through an illness, I get to be able to do the same thing but in a completely different way. If you're struggling, if you're hurting, whether it's mental or emotional, if ever you think you're alone, you're not. And if ever you think no one cares, I do. Please come join me behind the blocks. Thank you.